Jollof rice is a delicacy that began in West Africa, but because of frequent cultural exchange amongst various regions, the recipe continues to spread far and wide. It is considered a celebratory dish and popular in West African nations like Nigeria, Ghana, and Senegal. Because there are so many variations, this jollof rice recipe is probably a combination of a lot of different interpretations. There are ongoing debates across West Africa that argue which region prepares the best version of jollof rice. Jollof or jollof rice is a rice dish from West Africa. The dish is typically made with long grain rice, tomatoes, chilies, onions, spices, and sometimes other vegetables and or meat in a single pot, although its ingredients and preparation methods vary across different regions. The dish's origins are traced to Senegal. Regional variations are a source of competition between the countries of West Africa, and in particular Nigeria and Ghana, over whose version is the best. In the 2010s this developed into a friendly rivalry known as the Jollof Wars. In French-speaking West Africa, a variation of the dish is known as riz au gras. According to African food historian Fran Osio, the origins of the dish can be traced to North Senegal, which was ruled by the Wolof or Jollof Empire in the 14th century, spanning parts of today's Senegal, the Gambia, and Mauritania, where rice was grown, and which is known as Thiboudienne or Thibajan, which contains rice, fish, shellfish, and vegetables. If made with meat, it is called chibu yap. Food and agriculture historian James C. McCann speculated that it was unlikely that the dish could have naturally spread from Senegal to its current range since a similar cultural diffusion is not seen in linguistic, historical, or political patterns. Instead, he proposed that the dish spread with the Mali Empire, especially the Jula tradespeople who dispersed widely to the regional commercial and urban centers, taking with them economic arts of blacksmithing, small-scale marketing, and rice agronomy as well as the religion of Islam. Marc Dufumier, an emeritus professor of agronomy, proposes a more recent origin for the dish, which may only have appeared as a consequence of the colonial promotion of intensive peanut cropping in central Senegal for the French oil industry, and where commensurate reduction in the planted area of traditional millet and sorghum staples was compensated for by imports of broken rice from Southeast Asia. This gave local cooks no choice but to use the then unfamiliar product. The use of New World tomatoes, tomato paste, capsicum peppers, bell, chili, paprika, Indian curry powder, Mediterranean thyme, and Asian rice varieties, may limit the origin of the current dish to no earlier than the 19th century, there being no evidence of the ingredients being locally cultivated or imported before this period. In Senegal, oral histories credit Pendem Bey, a cook at the residence of one of the colonial rulers in St. Louis, Senegal, as having created the dish when she ran out of barley and substituted rice. Jollof rice is one of the most common dishes in West Africa. There are several regional variations in name and ingredients, for example, in Mali it is called zam in Bamanankan. The dish's most common name of jollof derives from the name of the Wolof people Tendo in Senegal, Mauritania, and Gambia. The dish is referred to in Wolof as Sibujen or Benachin. In French-speaking areas, it is called riz au gras. Despite the variations, the dish is mutually intelligible across the regions and has become the best-known African dish outside the continent. It is found throughout the world wherever communities of West African immigrants have developed. Jollof rice traditionally consists of rice, cooking oil, tomatoes, onion, chilies, and often some combination of other ingredients such as tomato paste, bell pepper, garlic, ginger, thyme, curry powder, grains of salim, and bouillon cubes or stock. Recipes vary from country to country and cook to cook. Chicken, turkey, beef, lamb, or fish are often cooked with or served with the dish. In some countries, other vegetables such as cabbage or carrots are included. Some recipes call for long grain rice, some for short grain, some for broken rice, others for parboiled rice. Typically the tomatoes, paste, onions, and chilies are sautéed in oil and simmered into a sauce which the rice is then cooked in. West African countries typically have at least one variant form of the dish, with Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and Cameroon particularly competitive as to which country makes the best jollof. In the mid-2010s this expanded into the Jollof Wars. The gastro-nationalistic rivalry is especially prominent between Nigeria and Ghana. In 2016, Sister Deborah released the song Ghana Jollof, which denigrated the Nigerian version and Nigerians for being proud of their version. Soon after, a physical fight over insufficient jollof supplies at a Ghanaian political rally sparked delighted mocking of Ghanaians by Nigerians. Of particular sensitivity in jollof-making communities is the inclusion of non-traditional ingredients, which are defined country to country and are seen as making the jollof inauthentic. In 2014, a recipe released by Jamie Oliver that included cherry tomatoes, coriander, lemon, and parsley, none of which are used in any traditional recipe, caused outraged reactions to the point Oliver's team had to issue a statement. Ghanaian jollof rice is made of vegetable oil, onion, ginger, pressed garlic cloves, chilies, tomato paste, beef or goat meat or chicken, sometimes alternated with mixed vegetables, local or refined rice, typically jasmine rice and black pepper. Ghanaian jollof typically does not include any green leafy vegetables. The method of cooking Ghanaian jollof begins with first preparing the beef or chicken by seasoning and steaming it with a puree of ginger, onions, and garlic and frying it until it is well cooked. The rest of the ingredients are then fried all together, starting from onions, pepper, tomato paste, tomatoes, and spices in that order. After all the ingredients have been fried, rice is then added and cooked until the meal is prepared. Ghanaian jollof is typically served with plantains and side dishes of beef, chicken, well-seasoned fried fish, or mixed vegetables. Jollof in Ghana is also served alongside shito, a popular type of pepper which originates from Ghana, and salad during parties and other ceremonies. Liberian jollof seldom includes seafood. Although considerable variation exists, the basic profile for Nigerian jollof rice includes long-grain rice, including golden sela basmati rice, tomatoes and slash or tomato paste, onions, pepper, chili, Scotch bonnet and bell pepper, vegetable oil, meat broth slash stock and a various mixture of additional ingredients, including thyme, bay leaves, curry powder, white pepper, small amounts of nutmeg and stock cubes. Converted rice, which may respectively exist in the form of standard long-grain parboiled rice, often labeled as easy cook rice in the UK, or golden sela basmati rice, similarly parboiled and which has come to be especially commonly used in the UK, gradually increasing in popularity since 2006, is most appropriate for Nigerian one-pot rice cooking, as it resists becoming mushy. The important quality of rice used to cook Nigerian one-pot rice recipes, including jollof rice, is that it is parboiled. The decision whether to use any of the numerous brands of conventional long-grain parboiled / easy cook rice, example Tolly Boy, VT, Village Pride, Tropical Sun, Mama Pride, Mama Africa, Cap Rice, Uncle Ben's, Royal Stallion, Carolina Gold, or Golden Sela Basmati parboiled rice, further sub-branded, example Asli, tilde, is merely a matter of availability, convenience, and / or personal preference and the sub-status of one or the other grain group being conventional long grain or basmati long grain. Completely irrelevant. What matters is that it is parboiled, i.e., partially boiled at the husk when processing. Sela basmati rice, however, is considered more aesthetically pleasing to some. Most of the ingredients are cooked in one pot, of which a rich meat stock or broth and a fried tomato and pepper puree characteristically forms the base. Rice is then added and left to cook in the liquid. The dish is then served with the protein of choice, which in theory may be any meat but often beef, turkey, chicken, or croaker fish, much less commonly lamb, pork, etc., and very often with fried plantains, moi moi, steamed vegetables, coleslaw, salad, etc. The dish is known in Sierra Leone, where it may not call for red palm oil but, instead, tomato paste, similar to the rest of jollof cooking West Africa. In French-speaking West Africa, including Benin-Essa, Burkinabe, Guinean, Guinea-Bissauan, Ivorian, Nigerian, and Togolese cuisines, there is a variant called riz gras or riz au gras, which translates to fat rice, a reference to the short grain rice usually used in the dish. Riz gras typically includes additional vegetables such as eggplant, carrots, and slash or cabbage. Jollof is culturally important in much of West Africa to the point there is a common saying, a party without jollof is just a meeting. In Nigeria the term, see jollof means see how much fun is being had according to Nigerian food historia Ozisoka. Since the 2010s there has been increasing interest in West African foods in the Western world. Jollof food festivals have been held in Washington, D.C., and Toronto. World Jollof Day has been celebrated since 2015 on August 22, gaining traction on social media. On November 3, 2022, the dish was honored with a Google Doodle. Some areas also have versions of two related dishes. Party jollof or party rice is generally cooked outdoors over a wood fire, which gives it a smoky flavor and a crusty bottom pot similar to tadig or sokora. Native rice, which uses red palm oil and smoked, dried fish and is seasoned with uziza seeds and slash or scent leaf, respectively known as nchuanwuo, arimuo, and ahuji in Igbo, antong in Efikababio, eferin in Yoruba, anyeba in Igala, aramogbo in Edo, etc., occasionally sprinkled with cut olalai, local mint. Concoction rice is a term that may refer to either this or an economically friendly version of either this or conventional jollof rice, but in the latter, too, red palm oil, or groundnut oil, is more frequently used to cook it than vegetable oils. The base of this dish is fragrant rice steeped in rich ingredients that are fairly common and easy to find. Like aromatics, garlic, fresh ginger, and onions are sautéed at the start to give the rice an excellent flavor base. Tomatoes, I prefer using canned crushed tomatoes. They mostly cook into the rice leaving small pieces, rather than large chunks in the rice, which I prefer. The tomatoes will add a bit of sweetness to balance out the heat of the chili. Spicy chilies, the rice is traditionally on the spicy side of things. I use habanero pepper for its unique fruity flavor, but feel free to adjust the amount added depending on your preference for heat. Chicken stock gives the rice more depth of flavor, though you can use a vegetable-based stock for a vegan version. Basmati rice cooks up nice and fluffy. Spices and herbs, we will use curry powder, dried thyme, smoked paprika, and a fresh bay leaf to deepen the flavor, making it warmer, smokier, and brighter. Thank you for watching this video.